Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Profit Adda. So today exactly I'm gonna talk about this reading, writing and processing our data via HTML table with Pandas. Okay. So as you know, the data which we process specially contains in a data frame, and whatever the data we process, it is in special in Python. Now to process the data, we should know the structure of the data. Okay. So especially the data will be in a JSON format, whatever we process as an HTTP request or from the data from the website. Okay, especially whatever we get the data. Okay, so if we want to process, we certainly know what kind of data is there, the structure, each and everything. Okay, and to get this data, I must say, this viewing is very much important. To view this data, okay, we have to write this data in HTML table. So whatever we data we were processing in a CSV file. Okay, but as to process certain kind of a data, okay, we will take it out this special, so suppose instruments data is there. So I've been already done a video regarding processing this instruments data. Okay, how you can get the in the money, at the money and out of the money strike price from Malay's Blue. Okay, so you can watch this video, it will be very helpful, and I have given the code. So from that code, I'm taking out certain things and I'm gonna write the code and then gonna read the code and process the information as per my requirement. Now what happens, I can process this information, especially these things will be utilized in a scrapping method. You got HTML table, process information, take it in a CSV or anywhere whichever you are looking for. Okay, now as in certain case, what happens is, suppose if you get certain kind of a data and want to process in HTML table, in CSV and HTML table, same as stepwise whichever you are looking for. So I'm gonna do that stuff as of right now. Okay, so if you say, suppose this thing is definitely required Alice Blue API. So if you don't have an account, check link in the description, go for it, have an account and just get back to it. If you want to get how you want to get this API and access token, you can check my video which I have been just shown, and you can refer my website which is already I've been given each and everything in a post, in a blog post. Just check that video and take it out from this step. Okay, so let's go for these things. The data which I say is need to be searched, and I will put in a Pandas data frame and I'm gonna straight away write those data in HTML table. We will review this data and process. So let's go for this thing. So I'll have to say data, and all we have to say is dot search underscore instruments. Okay, so we already know whatever the data contains in this. Okay, so somebody if doesn't know about these things, I must say that watch the previous videos. Okay, so it will be helpful. Okay, so now you can follow these steps, and if not understanding, please follow my previous video. So search instruments will be there. So we are fetching this. Definitely looking for options data, so I'll have to say NFO. Okay, especially if I say future and options data will be available, and I have to process this information. Okay, so we will process later. First of all, we will take it out this data. So bank nifty I'm looking for. Okay, my favorite script, and this data I definitely gonna show to you. So we have to say in this way. And if I'm processing this information, see this what happens, it will take processing power. Okay, and so many of the data will be there. Okay, so this format is definitely not in a good to fetch or say suppose read and write. Okay, so that's the reason I am putting this in a data frame. We will read and we will process the information. Okay, so we'll put this in a data frame. Okay, so all we have to say pd dot data frame, and now what happens, whatever the data will be there will be an easy to fetch. Okay, so suppose if I get this data, now what happens, some of the information will be available. Okay, so as of getting into this data, so suppose if I'm only looking for only the contact, only option contacts, not other things. Okay, so whatever August, July, September is there, I will take it out whole. And in simple few things which I will show you in a certain way, you can do it both side, either this or either that way. Okay, so suppose if I got this data and I read this in format, so suppose if I read this CSV data, okay, and so suppose if I am I will process this information, I don't want futures contact, so this is how I have to do. If I take it out this 3 columns, only options data will be available. Okay, so now I have been processed the data and I will give it in HTML table. Okay, so as you can see, there is no future contacts, only option contact is there. I will process this data and I will say in an HTML table. Okay, now what happens, I will name them as an instruments because I am exactly fetching Bank Nifty instruments, so I have to say in this name. Okay, and I don't want other things, so I'm just looking for the data which need to be processed, which I am processing from by reading and writing into an HTML table. Okay, so we are good to go. So we got our data without any error. Okay, so we process the information as per our requirement and this is the data will be there. Now what happens is, suppose if I am reading this data in a Python, it kind of the whole data won't be visible, and to process this information every time I need to print and check. So what happens, instead of that, I just, if I visit in instruments.html table, so it will be in a cleaner way. So that's what I'm doing here. I am cleaning the data, I'm processing the data. See, this is how I should follow. Okay, now what happens, I am looking for expiry, special expiry, I'm looking for July contact, not each and everything. Okay, now what happens, I just put it in HTML table. Now I won't require any other things, so I just take it out the information of access token or alias blue. So now I can play the data which is it is there. Okay, so I will read these instruments and process the information as per my requirement. So I can check this data and I can straight away go with the fetching contact, as in taking expiry, then taking this July, so I can process straight away, but I'm gonna do step by step. So now what happens is, suppose if I get this data, so what I have to say is I have to read this. Now what happens, if I'm reading in HTML, so suppose if you are doing first time, what happens, while reading in HTML table you will get an error as an LXML import error. So if you are getting that error, just get with pip install LXML. Okay, and everything is good. So I'm in the same folder, so I have to say instruments.html and I'm gonna read the table. So whatever the columns, each and everything is there, I'm just gonna read. Okay, since it's a data frame, so we not worried about. Now what happens, each and everything is there. The one thing is which what the syntax contains, this column what it happens in a parenthesis, so we have to take it out this step and still we will process, and we got these non value as well. Okay, so let's see this stuff. Now what happens, we need to sort it out with help of our the value which I am getting in this thing in a sorted. So I need to sort it out with the help of our expiry, this expiry. Okay, so it should be in a well manner. So suppose September contact is there now, so I can check and validate as of before printing or processing the information just by looking. Okay, so whether July contact is there or not. Okay, so I need to fetch July, December, September. So like this is the way I get. So as you can see, the data is not in a well manner, not in a processed way. Okay, so if fetch and try should be in this way. So if I need to fetch in July, first of all I will check with the expiry. So if the expiry is good or not. Okay, so we'll check with the expiry. So what happens, we will process this information as in data 0th column, and we will sort this expiry. So we say sort underscore values, and we will name that column. So our column name is expiry. Okay, now it is simple. If I want to check this, what is the symbol name, so this is the better. So instead of CSV and printing in a data statements, okay, this is how you should get the data, write the data, and there's a process this way. So this is better. So I'm at least I can check the syntax that I'm not missing anything, any of the symbol name. After processing, just sort it out. So 0th column. So while reading this HTML table, you will get a 0th column. So just process out a 0th column, and we will read. Now what happens? Sorted, and it should be the expiry data, whichever it is available, it will be there. Okay, now what happens, from the expiry we got our July contact. So from this the information is processed from there only expiry. It is not like every data will be available, which we can't see. So only we sorted out only expiry to whatever the July contact is there, which is below, should be come out from this one. Now you can follow other things as well. Okay, but this is the perfect way we should get for it. Okay, and so if I have to get this sorting values with the expiry, and if I'm looking for July contact, now I'm looking for only July contact. So what I have to say is whatever the data is there, just we have to process in a way which is in a data of data, which is I want to my symbol will be there, in which a string will be there which contains as in JUL. Okay, so what happens if I check how I'm gonna validating this syntax. Okay, especially if I look with the July, say suppose if I find it out the July, so what happens, the string which is contains is July. Even Bank Nifty is same. July is the only the stuff which is looking it is special. Okay, so it is there is a differences is there, if I have to fetch this contact, so July, if I'm looking for, say I have to say JUL. Okay, so it is different from other things, so it is easy to get that string and fetch that for me. So now what happens, so suppose if I get the July, and I will close this block and I will print, so only July contact it is now will be available. Okay, so I think we got the contact. Now what happens is EP will be there. Okay, and one more thing which we can sort it out is the value which we are getting. So we have to get from the list. Okay, it should be not unorganized or random. So we can use the same thing. Okay, so we can say our whatever the data, whichever it is available, we'll gonna sort it out with the help of our symbol name. So it is just a symbol, so we have to say like this way, and whatever we process the data will be from the least to the highest, from low to high will be there. Okay, So this is how the data will be there. From 25,400 CE we got. Okay, now what we can do is like we can take it out this CP, this 20 values which you can fetch for from the range. You can say some ATM I got, at the money I got, and with the help of string contains you can say I am looking for some 36,700. So today's ATM, so I can say as in 36,700 and fetch for me. So from that index I calculate from the range, I will get as in 20 values or something, 20 to 40 values. So CEP will be get fetched for you. So that is how you can process the information, you can get content. Okay, so I think for here it is enough. So I've already shown from your point what you can do is like two ways you can still check it out. With the help of string contains you can say whatever the ATM value is there, because especially when we are fetching the data, as you know, this is in string. Okay, so as you can see, you can say this value and it will be in a string. So particularly just fetch the symbol in a strike, contain them in a string, and just say string contains, so it will fetch you that particular value, name them in index, and get that index. From the index get upper or below range, that will be already sorted out the symbol, so get it, and you can say in this way. Now what happens is, suppose if I got the symbols, one more thing is there, I need to reset this index, so I have to say this way, so drop should be true. Okay, and one more way I will whatever processed information is there will since it's a July contact, and we will name them in same as in these things. So whatever our value is there, reset index will be there and drop will be there. So with the value whatever will be available will be in the index. And now what happens, say suppose I got July contact and I am looking for my option symbols July. So this is how I will get. So this is how I got my data. I will get this in July HTML. So now it is much faster. Okay, so whatever I want to process, so this is how I got okay the value which I am looking for, which I processed. Okay, now say suppose if I am getting this index, since still I want to process this information, so I can look for the value. Okay, so 25,400 value is there. What I am looking is 36,700. So I can get the index if I don't have to do it in a Python, I can still view this information and can still process and can do as per my requirements. So I think I got the values and do it as per my requirements. So 36,700. So now what happens at 226, the index value contains this thing. Okay, so if I fetch this index of my 36,700, whether I get or not. Okay, so how, so suppose if I am reading this, okay, and say particular symbol I need to fetch, so I have to say data and symbol, and the index which I want to say as in 200. So this is what I want, 226. Okay, so this is how I will fetch. So we'll see what are the data it is available, as in 226. So as you can see 36,700. So this is how you validate and process the data. Now say 226 is there, and if I have to process this information in a list, or like I want to get certain kind of a data and want to check, like if I am to put in HTML table same, I can still process. Okay, in a range I can get, so suppose if I am looking some range of data and want to process some 20 list. Okay, so it's a list underscore data, and this is how you can process further, and same you can put in an HTML table. And for this purpose, if you are not understanding, you can get my another video which I have been done a detailed explanation. Okay, so 226 will be there. So from this what happens further, whatever the value will be there, I want to process this, and for x in a range, what I have to get is like I have to get at least 20 symbols, and I'm gonna check whether whatever I'm processing is correct or not. Okay, so this is how you will get. Okay, so 36,700, from you got at least 20 values, you can say 40 values. Okay, so from this you can process easily, or otherwise you can format the LTP, ATM, you get the ATM, just string contains and get the value which you are looking for. Looking for 40, and so suppose if you are looking for like below, okay, so this will be your ATM. So suppose for like the contains EP, for C it will be ITM, for P it will be an OTM. Okay, so 37,600. Now what happens for 37,500, it will be in ATM for like C, but for P it will be OTM. So this is how we will get, and we can still can say for the C and can differentiate it into an C and P. So further which you can try by yourself. Okay, thanks for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe. If you got any doubt regarding this video, please do comment below. If you have any other queries or requirements, please do contact me direct via WhatsApp. Thank you.